Hello Spartans! Before we get into the video, I would just like to do a short introduction. In this video, I'm going to play Solo Mist with tier 7 and tier 8 equivalent gear. I'm gonna do some commentary throughout the video just to explain my thought process during the fights. Let's get straight into the video. And for this first fight, I'm playing against a Pike. He's playing Mage Cowl, Black Robe with Night Boots. He's also using second Q spell, so he has a major range advantage. End up using Assassin Jacket here, I'm trying to kite him. I want to swap my W spell to Impaler, so I'm trying to go for a reset. Keep in mind this guy is running Night Boots with last active and Fetford Cape, so if I get the advantage in the fight, he will have a really hard time resetting. End up mounting up and tanking his E and auto attack spell with my mount, making me have a great advantage in this fight. Using Cleric Robes, I try to kite it to avoid any unnecessary damage. Keep in mind here, the best option would be to try to stat check him, stand on top of him and just auto attack him, since he has a range advantage on the Q spell. He is also on quite heavy mana struggles. Uses Night Boots here to get close, and I end up Guardian Helmeting his E spell, end up winning me in the fight. What he probably should have done was just to wait out and try to bait out the Guardian Helmet after he uses his boots. And for this next fight, I'm playing as the Blodletter. He's playing the regular Blodletter set, but he's using Assassin Jacket instead of Cleric Robe. I explained this matchup in my Spear Weaponry guide, something I would recommend you guys to check out. End up crippling his boots and cutting his Inferno Shield. I try to go in for some damage. He ends up using Overcharge to gain some stats as well as heal. I choose to Assassin Jacket his auto attacks and Q since I have a lot of spells on cooldown. Here was a mistake, I should not have E'd away. This gave him the opportunity to, if he wanted to reset. I would try to wait my boots a little bit to try to engage when I have my E spell ready. He ends up going for the Mage Cowl, a Guardian Helmet to block the damage. Using Inferno Shield here, so I try to kite him a little bit. He tries to go for the kill, which was a mistake. I think he forgot I didn't use my healing potion. I proc his Undead Cape and he tries to kill me through it, but he has reduced damage in Undead Cape. He'll probably try to escape here. He has used all of his core spells as well as boots, so he has no core spells to be able to reset, so end up getting the job done. Good fight indeed. For this next fight, I'm walking into a guy clearing mobs. I have no idea what they're playing, but when I end up inspecting him, his 6.3 masterpiece, Deathgiver build. He's playing Stalker Hood, so he has good chances to kill me for Undead Cape. I have a bad spells for this fight. I want to swap my Impaler to Cripple and my boots to Rejuvenating Sprint. Here, he ends up using all his Q and E spells with his W, so he has used all his core damage spells. This makes me able to reset with Guardian Helmet. I try to reset, swap spells and re-engage when I have better chances. He ends up not being too happy with the reset. About a minute later, I try to go for the re-engage. By this time, he has found other plays to fight. There's a one-handed dagger, there's the Deathgiver and a random rat. Also, there's a tank, Greataxe hovering to fight. I swap to Harpoon here to try to avoid him kiting. End up overcharging here to get some more combo stats. He tries to disengage here, but end up harpooning to gain distance and also cancel his boots. I try to Assassin Jacket here to force both dagger players to target each other to avoid losing health. The Greataxe player dismounts, and also keep in mind he has Guardian armor to reveal any people in Invis, for example Undead Cape. There's also a Battle Bracer dismounted here, so both of them can kill me for Undead Cape, so I try to kite it. I'm using Health Potion, and fortunately he misses his E spell, which was fatal mistake for him. I try to bait out his W with my E spell, and this I'm able to reset with my boots. And for this next fight, I found a random 8.3 Tombhammer. He's on Cultist Robe with a Robe Cowl of Purity, so it's really squishy, but he has a lot of damage at the same time. Here I end up making a mistake. I used my boots when he has slowed me, and I did not block any of his core spells with my Guardian Helmet. I tried to go for the reset with the cripple, but he has really high mobility with that weapon. Here I should have tried to go up a little bit to bait out his E. Him hitting the max range E spell ends up being really rough to escape. I try to make some distance. Uses his slowing charge to gain distance. I use my boots as well as he. I try to get a mount up here, but has way too much damage to just burst through it. He ends up missing the execute, which was really lucky. I tried to go for the reset as well to make some distance. Here I made a mistake. I should have tried to kept running. I wanted to run back to cripple his boots and make some distance, but he ends up hitting me with the E-spell, which was my fatal mistake. For this next fight I found a 8.1 Claymore build. He has the really popular build right now, that's with Mercenary Jacket and Helmet of Valor, really strong. Ends up dismounting and going for the fight. Overcharged, eat food, and he gets a 1-stack E-spell right at the beginning of the fight. Keep in mind I'm playing cripple here, so I cripple his stack even through Iron Will. I try to get some distance here. I try to Assassin Jacket his Mercenary Jacket, and he misses the Helmet of Valor, so I had a huge advantage in this fight. I also keep in mind I have healing pot advantage still, but if we continue fighting I have a big HP advantage. I end up using my Guardian Helmet to block his E-spell as well as using healing potion. I cripple his stacks and try to stack check him. I save my Q spell and E to finish the job. For this next fight I found a Cursed Skull player. He's playing Mercenary Jacket and he's 6.3 full build. He's really strong and he's a turret build. He has low mobility but really good combat stats. I make a mistake here. I try to assassinate his E-spell but it's AoE, so he ends up healing full for no reason, and I go for the reset. The thing with these turret skull builds and curse players in general, they're really good stats for fighting, but they can't really chase down if they get the advantage. I try to kite him here and I have more mobility so I can reset for no problem. Thing is, there's a lot of players hovering and they go for the kill on me instead, since I'm low. All of these players are 5.1 and 4.1, so they don't really deal any damage. I try to kite and go for the exit. I'm confident I can escape here with my boots. I don't even have to use my Guardian Helmet or my healing potion. Should be fine. For this next fight, I run into two guys fighting. I'll go for the third party to try to get some loot. They ends up committing to the fight, which was really good for me. When you run into a third party, you should try to unavoid the fight to disengage. Them end up continuing the fight, made me kill both of them instead of one. This guy was not too happy about third party, I guess. For this next fight, I'm fighting a curse player. He's playing Assassin Jacket with Hell of Purity, so when he gets full stacks on me, it can be really annoying. He can be in stasis and invisible, so it's really annoying. I have full stacks on me, meanwhile I can't do any return damage. I got a bad engage, so I'll try to go for the reset here. I cripple his boots, try to get some distance. I'm not using healing potion or Guardian Helmet here. I just want to proc my Undead Cape and go for a reset. Here I end up picking really bad pathing. I try to reset and run into a lot of mobs. I end up using my healing potion just in case, for good measure, and I go for the reset. Later, we fight again a minute later. I got my Undead Cape back up, and I have swapped my potion to Sticky Key to reveal his Assassin Jacket. This play gave me a huge advantage. Ends up using Gigpot here. I Assassin Jacket, and since I'm on low curse stacks, this should give me an advantage. I try to stick on him here to deal some damage. I try to save my E-spell to execute him through Undead Cape, but he ends up fearing me, which was really annoying. He uses boots, I tried to kill him through it, it was really rough. Here I have a boots advantage, but he gets a lot of distance anyway. I have more mobility, but he ends up resetting because of the undead cape. Fortunate. For this next fight, I'm straight up just walking up to a gatherer, probably watching YouTube or something on his other screen. Ends up crippling his boots and making him really hard for him to escape. Use the Invis potion as well, I just pocket with the AoE Q spell. I end up killing a squirrel used for good measure, because why not, I guess. I got the Pest Lizard and as well as the Gathering set. For this next clip, I'm just opening a chest. Nice 8.1 weapon as well. And walking into next mist. This next mist, it's really annoying. These two rats has been following me basically for a minute straight. They don't really want to fight, but I can't really pick fights with other people because they're hovering me and waiting for me to fight other players. I just try to catch him, but he has too much mobility, I can't really chase him. Now as well, the warbow player tries to go for engage. Here I have harpoons, I have good spells to kill him, but I'm not really interested in trying to commit to him. If I do, I'm confident the Blodletter player will try to kill me. He has already used his course movement speed spells, so I go for the boots into mount and I end up resetting. In this next fight, I'm just clearing the bandit camp when a Oathkeeper end up showing up. We end up trading some. I e-spell for good measure, stat check in the beginning of the fight. I end up guarding helmet, his mage cowl, and I cripple his e-spell. I get some. He has already used his core spells here, so he has nothing up. I just try to deal as much damage as I can. Here he's playing Coiling Cape, so he doesn't really have a lot of escape. A random Blodletter ends up engaging, he has hostile dismount with 12 seconds cooldown. Here I'm winning the fight, but I'm confident if we continue the fight, the Blodletter will probably kill me or the other guy and use reset. I'm disengaging here. At the time I didn't know this guy was a 4.1, so I could have probably just kept on fighting. Uses minor work boots, try to chase me down, but he can't really attack me, so I just mount up and disengage. This next clip we will also have another one of these Claymore players. They're playing Mercenary Jacket with Helmet of Valor. It's a really strong build. He runs to mobs to stack up his Q passive stacks. I'm not really interested in starting a fight when he has max stacks on his Q already. I try to kite him around the rock. He uses Iron Will to prolong his stacks, and I use my boots to kite him. I'm using this rock to avoid his E-spell to get a bad start of the beginning of the fight. He goes back to mob to pre-stack and I just run away. I'm not really interested in starting a fight when he has Q stacks on. Shortly after, I found this Greataxe player trying to clear the spider. Unfortunately, his mount is standing on the spider poison, so I can't really mount up. I kill the guy, I loot him, and then later I clear the spider. I'm full inventory here, and the Claymore player shows back up. I end up picking the fight, and the beginning of the fight here again, he tries to stack up his Q spell on mobs. I try to kite away to make the fight start with an even advantage, so he doesn't have Q stacks at the beginning of the fight. Again, he runs back to mobs to try to stack up, but it resets. Uses Iron Will at the beginning of the fight, which make a huge advantage. Lost a lot of combo stats from it. I cripple his Q stacks, so he gained a 0 stack E spell. Here I had a huge advantage. He uses my Assassin Jacket on his Inferno Shield. Keep in mind he's playing Fatford Cape, so it's really hard for him to escape if he's losing the fight. Use my healing potion here to get some more stats. His E-spell ends up dealing basically no damage, and I finish the job. For this next fight, I'm playing as a Battleaxe. He's playing double Helion, and he's using cooldown reduction offhand as well as food. Ends up engaging with me here, I cripple his boots and go for the stat check. Ends up Eing his third Q, as well as he's using double E-spell, so he has huge cooldown on his E-spell. Here he's running into mobs to get some healing off his healing jacket. I proc his Martlock cape. He refreshes his healing jacket again. I try to kite him a little bit here to avoid the healing. Ends up using healing potion and the second healing jacket. I assassinate him here to avoid his E-spell and avoid the stacks. I go for the re-engage. Luckily he ends up missing the second E, which should make me able to kill him. Because of his cooldown reduction advantage, he gets boots back, and he also baits me really hard here. He has really high cooldown reduction, and he ends up having his healing jacket back up. End up guard the helmet, his second E spell, and try to go escape. Here's another example of the cooldown reduction helping him a lot. He has his boots about 8 seconds sooner than me. Ends up. For this next fight, there is this mist appearing. There's this tier 8 equivalent fire player, and a lot of rats hovering. I'm confident if I fight the fire player, I will win the fight. He's playing Undead Cape as well with the taproot. He's quite tanky, but he has no mobility. The random rat end up helping me, and I cripple his boots. A lot of rats are hovering. I try to save my 4 spells to execute him through the Undead Cape. I did a mistake here. I walk into the firewall again, making me lose distance. I use my Q spell on the random rat to preserve my Q stacks to execute him. End up executing him, and since I have the last hit and the most damage, no one can kill him. Sorry, no one can loot him, I mean. End up overcharging to get some combat stats to try to make it harder for them to kill me from that cape. Use my Garden helmet to survive the stacks, as well as reset with my assassin jacket and Undead cape. I go for the re-engage here, I heal up and go for the bear paw. I'm quite confident I win this fight. I use my Garden helmet on his E-stacks and try to stat check him. He's also on the third W spell, so I can't really cripple anything except his boots. End up taking the loot since no one else could loot it, since I dealt the most damage and I finished him as well. So it was looted, protected for everyone else. End up going for the curse player here, but he ends up being able to reset. I used a lot of core spells on him, so when the bear paw re-engage I have basically everything on cooldown. I use my assassin jacket here to try to get some distance, and I end up resetting. I accidentally misclicked my mount twice, so I cancelled the mount, but it didn't end up mattering since I lost him. And for this next fight, there's this random Battleaxe guy. He apparently doesn't want to fight, but when I start opening the chest, he dismounts on me with a huge disadvantage. I guard the helmet, his mage cal, and just stick on him. Here he ends up making a really good play. He wants to run away, and if he uses boots, I can cripple him. So he uses boots, W into assassin jacket to avoid the cripple spell. End up chasing him around and trying to deal some good damage to him. Ends up connecting double E spell, which dealt a lot of damage to me. Try to chase him down and uses my boots into combo to finish the job. Now this random Claymore player hovering. I can't really fight him with this huge health disadvantage, so I try to go for the reset. I save my E-spell to counteract his E-spell. If I use my E-spell, meanwhile he's charging, it will dodge it. Ends up using my E-spell, his E-spell, and I end up resetting. It cabbage here to try to turn, but when I began healing, he just mounts up and disengages. And for this next clip, I found 2 people fighting. I dismount close by to try to go for an engage. This Blodletter player is playing with Chain Slash with Royal Sandals, so I can't really purge anything with my cripple spell. He runs into a lot of mobs here, so he has mob aggro if he turns on me here. I try to poke him and use my cripple spell used for value. Ends up running into mobs and taking a lot of bleed damage in return. Try to use Royal Sandals out and he gets tagged by a lot of mobs. Ends up getting downed by the bleed and I end up finishing him. For this next clip, I randomly run into this encampment and there's a bear paw just vibing in there. He's not too happy about me running around, so he goes for the dismount. Here he gets tagged by a lot of mobs and ends up getting stunned by Archer, giving me a huge advantage at the beginning of the fight. I try to stick on him here, but I have cripple on cooldown and he has Royal Sandals, making it really hard for me to chase him down. Keep in mind he also has Undead Cape, so I will have to use my E-spell to finish him through Undead Cape. Which makes it really hard if he's running away, because I need to use my E-spell for range. Here, if I wanted to, I could Q him and proc his Undead Cape. But he has boots up really soon, as well as E, so I don't really want to give him that distance. I try to use my boots to chase him down, but he ends up assassinating and resetting with his Royal Sandals. Here, we go for a round 2. This time around I've swapped my W spell from Cripple to Impaler, to Harpoon, and I also swapped my Potion to Poison. I'm quite confident I will win this fight. I don't need the extra combo stats. Instead, I try to pick skills that will make it easier for me to chase him down. Uses Assassin Jacket here. I try to use Assassin Jacket to make it harder for him to create distance. Ends up going down and trying to make some distance. I use my E-spell here, which was maybe a little bit careless. Ends up having 2 huge advantage. Ends up crippling. I have a bleed stacks, but I thought he was gonna chase me down, but ends up running away. Here he uses his Royal Sandals and he resets again. He mounts up, I mount up as well, I try to chase him down. He dismounts, which makes him able to turn, which was really weird since I think I win this fight anyway. Ends up missing his E-spell as well and he has Undead Cape on cooldown, making him unable to reset. For this next clip I'm transporting a mist, and there's a lot of 5.1 and 4.1 people just hovering around. I try to dismount people, but I don't really want to use my core spells on the mounts. Everyone is kinda just hovering and don't really want to fight. Kinda annoying. A lot of them have minor work boots, they have 4 mobility spells up with their gear, so I'm not really interested in fighting them. End up losing my patience, end up dismounting this random rat. He ends up using his E-spell and dismounting a bow player. There's kind of no point in chasing this guy, he has minor work boots and I won't really be able to cripple it with my E-spell. Now this bow player targets me and everyone kinda hovers. I kinda just lost my mind, I used dismount everyone, which was kinda bad mistake. I have no idea what's going on, everyone's just attacking everyone I guess. End up going for the reset here. I cripple his boots into E-spell to get some distance. Later I resetted, but these guys keep on chasing me. It's a 1v1 now. End up using Guardian Helmet on his Mage Cowl and cleansing his Q stacks as well. He misses his E-spell, which was a huge advantage in this fight. He uses both E-spells, so he can't really keep on fighting me here. End up crippling his boot spell. Here he has Undead Cape, I try to finish him through it. I try to wait my E-spell before I proc the Undead Cape. Here I end up using Q and missing my E-spell, which was unfortunate, making him able to reset. We go for round 2, and this time around he has swapped his jacket to Inferno Shield from Ambush. Probably quite a good choice, but I end up being able to kite him. Here both of us uses boots, I use my Cripple and Ambush to dodge his Inferno Shield. Again he uses double E-spells, so he can't really keep on fighting me here, he has Force cooldown on his E-spell. This time around I end up not missing my E-spell and finishing the job. Thanks for watching the video, see you soon.